Afternoon. Welcome to Katona Presbyterian Church. I'm Lindley DeGarmo, the transitional pastor here. We're so delighted to see so many of you here this afternoon to support our ringers and to hear their marvelous music. It is a benefit concert, and you'll notice on the back of your bulletin, if you got one, that you can write a check to KPC with benefit in the memo line. Or if you're more modern than I am, you'll know how to use this little squiggle to get to Venmo, and you can also give through Venmo. Well, without further ado, let us worship the season.
Thank you very much for that. And I'd also like to add my welcome to Katona Presbyterian Church here. This is the first time in 3 years we have done this in front of people. And the first time in 4 years since it's been in front of people here. So it's really, really wonderful to see this many people here to support these choirs and to support this great cause. So thank you, thank you. For those who don't know, these two choirs, so one is the Katona Celebration Ringers and the Emmanuel Ringers from Pleasantville. We are sister choirs, we call ourselves. We have a long history that I can't go into now because we'll be here all night. But feel free to ask, I'd be happy to talk forever about it. But we have a lot of really close relations and ties going way back. So that being said, I guess Aiko Cornelius is my sister director. Aiko is the director of the Emmanuel Ringers. And I'll let her introduce this next song.
The second piece we'll be playing is Change Ring on Divinum Mysterium. It may sound familiar if you've ever heard of Of the Father's Love Begotten. And I don't have to talk very much because they're ready. We'll thank David for doing our sound today and video. So at this time, Katono can have a seat while Emmanuel gets ready for their solo. Each time we do this concert, this is actually the 35th concert that we've done. It started back in 1987 with our former directors, Rosemary Wildman and Eileen Lawrence. And I'll date myself because I think I was in that choir in 1987. So the next piece we're going to, and Scott had already graduated, and so it's a family affair. But this is a wonderful tradition that we have together to be able to ring together. It's very, they don't realize this, but it's a very unusual thing to be able to have another choir you can ring with together, because most choirs don't really play outside their churches. So we are super fortunate that we could do this together, especially for a good cause that we'll talk about later. The piece that the Emmanuel Ringers will be playing will be Milele. It's called, in Swahili, it means forever. It's a piece that if you'd like to come to Riverside Church in April, it's a plug for a concert at Riverside Church that both these choirs attend. It's one of the pieces on the program there. I'd like to thank Nick Webke, who is an alumni who's ringing with us tonight on the cajon, and London Oliver, who is one of the Katona members, who is playing the shaker. So, Milele.
So just this past Friday, I was, I was just going to ask. Just this past Friday, the Katona Ringers, we actually rang at a synagogue in Rye. And this next piece that both of us are going to play, we actually played it there. It's one of the few secular pieces on this program, so that was what we had amongst that. But I think that the kids actually, the Ringers actually really enjoyed it. There was talk of conversion, I think. So, Pastor Lindley, I'll leave that up to you if you want to deprogram. But anyway, so for those from Community Synagogue in Rye, if anyone is here, I know some of them are here, and them watching online, thank you so much for watching and attending. This one's for you. Thank you. It's Appassionata by Michael Joy.
So the last piece was an original composition. The next one is also an original composition, Nocturnal Fantasy by Emily Lee. It's actually based on a Chinese poem, and it's the beginning part is you can imagine sort of a very still lake with the moonlight shining on it, and you can imagine the reflection of the moon on the waters. There's a very calm part of the piece, and then a very exciting part of the piece, should I say? Yes, exciting part of the piece, which then goes back to that stillness, which is sort of kind of like what's happening during Advent. You know, you want to be calm, but you're not, and then you get kind of frenetic, and then go back to being calm. So this is a very difficult piece, but some of these ringers were on the trip this past summer to Tennessee to the 20th International Symposium, and this is one of the pieces they heard, and were like, we want to play that. So we're playing it for you tonight.
Hi, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to stand up here because you wouldn't see me if I stood down there. I'm just going to speak for a few minutes while they get ready the video for our beneficiary. Thank you. Hi. My name is Nancy Barletta Walsh. My daughter Amelia and I play in the bell choir here, and we've been members here for many years. And she and I recommended Wellspring Therapeutic Center as a beneficiary. It's very unique. It was started in 1977 by Phyllis and Richard Boves, and you will see them speak about the center. It's just a 3-minute video. It's actually, it's very unique. It's a therapeutic farm. And so it's a residential facility, and my daughter Amelia was there for several months this year. And what they feel is that in therapy, if you could work in the animals and work on the farm and get in touch with yourself, that's really part of the healing process. So their days were living on a farm and working in the garden, working with the animals. And also, the girls would cook, and they would have all the chores, and all the therapists who have been there 15 plus years, they've been there a very long time, they all eat together. They have a ritual of, they have different books of poems that they read while they're eating. And then also during the week, they do things like bowling, they work at the food bank, there's an abbey across the street that they go to. They go to a farm that makes goat soap. They go to local community events. And this therapeutic center is located in Bethlehem, Connecticut. And really, I think one of the most unique aspects is that the whole community of Bethlehem has welcomed these, the residents, they welcome the whole program, and they're part of the healing process. They go, the girls learn how to knit, and they go to someone's home, and they learn how to knit. Like I said, they work in the food bank, they go to the library, they go to the Veterans Day parade, and it was just so wonderful to see a whole community come together like that. And like I said, it was started in 1977, so it's been there a long time. And many of the residential programs around are very full, hard to get into, but the cost is upwards of $40,000 a month to get in there. And Wellspring is much less than that, and the money that we raise here today will go to their operating costs, but also they give scholarships. And my daughter told me, I think she was there for a month or so, that's my daughter, Amelia, and she told me that the therapist had said to the girls there's about 10 girls living on a big house, and there's another part of the farm, but the therapist had said to them, don't worry, if your parents run out of money, you'll stay here until you're better, until you're healed. So don't ever worry about money. So that's why Amelia and I wanted to suggest this beneficiary. And if you get a chance, I think it's wellspring.org, but definitely you can Google Wellspring in Bethlehem, Connecticut. And they have some different sorts of videos of the garden and things. And I think it's just a very interesting place. Thank you so much. Oh, and then what did you want me to say? Oh, yeah, sorry. If you're watching online on Facebook, we couldn't stream the video, but we're going to point the camera to the screen here. But you can always go to wellspring.org and also watch all the different videos there. Thank you so much.
Okay, David needs a second. Hold on. I turned it off. No, I turned it back on. There we go. David needs a second. Sarah just mentioned to me, so you can also, it's Venmo, but you can also, we happily take cash as well. And as well as a check. We'll take an offering after the video is played, and we'll hope to have a number before the end of the concert. David, you ready? Yes. Almost. Let me know. I'll keep talking. I'll keep. Hope this works.
Phyllis Buffett, and we're co-founders of Wellspring. 1977, we founded Wellspring because we wanted to start a treatment center of our own. We had been working at the Country Place in Litchfield together for many years before that, but we wanted to take a more relational approach, and we wanted to have it more family-oriented. Our way of looking at treatment is not that we're going to modify behavior. It's not behavior modification. It's not simply that people have to change their behavior and stop acting crazy. We wanted people to discover who they are, to find where their giftedness lay, to find what they responded to, what they loved. And so to provide media for people to make those discoveries and, to catch them at being who they naturally and instinctively are, as opposed to maybe false personality kinds of things that they had acquired, to discover those places where that spark lights.
Because we thought that, you can destructure behavior. You can make people conform in a certain way to what would be socially appropriate.
but that won't heal them.
But we thought that if the person could connect to who they were, what their natural essence of being a person was, that you could, if they could align with that, that would really stabilize them over the long haul.
So I know that video is not exactly the same as being person to person. It's very lovely to be sitting person to person with you and feeling, I can barely make out your features, but your being is shining out. And so that gives me something to respond to. And, I can feel that exchange begin to happen. And that's where we think that healing takes place. We think it takes place through consciousness, through compassion, but through connection.
No, that's the video I have. Nancy, did you want me to play another one, or was that it? No, that's it. Okay. So we're going to pass around some plates now. Go ahead, no ceremony, just start passing around. While we're doing that, thank you. While we're passing that around, we are going to play some music. This is I believe it's a French carol called "'Twas in the Moon of Wintertime." It's arranged by a man named Larry Sue, who in the bell community is part of a very famous duo, Carla and Larry Sue. They play lots of bells at the same time. This is not one of those. This is arranged for full choir, so enjoy. This next piece, this is KCR solo. Forever and ever, at least the Katona Ringers have played a version of Carol of the Bells, the same version, over and over and over and over. Over and over and over and over. Year after year after year. And it's a great arrangement. But we wanted to find something new, a new take on it. It's obviously a very popular tune and very appropriate because the lyrics literally talk about handbells, not any other kind of bells, exactly those handbells. And we did. We found a new arrangement by a young composer arranger, Alex Giebert. It's fantastic. I know that you'll enjoy it. We find it's particularly poignant now because the original song was composed by a Ukrainian, Mykola Leonovich, or something like that. He was known as the Ukrainian Bach. Unfortunately, he was murdered by a Russian spy because he was a very popular music teacher. Isn't that a thing? So, but he had the last laugh. That was over 100 years ago that he wrote it. And we still know it as one of the most famous Christmas carols, Christmas songs there is. So, you ready? All right, I can stop talking. Carol of the Bells by Alex Giebert, arranged by.
So as the ringers are getting ready, we were talking about this is our 35th year of ringing, doing this benefit concert. And the benefit concert is a wonderful way for the ringers to give back. They do play for their church services. They practice 2 hours a week, each of these choirs. And I know Scott and I are grateful for the time that they give and the dedication, because it's not an instrument you can really practice at home, and instruments are technically supposed to be practiced every day. But I know that doesn't happen. But we do appreciate the fact that they do come every week ready to rehearse and to learn all this music, not only for this concert, but our own worship services as well. But I also want to thank the families who support us, because 35 years and however long our programs have been, which have been longer than that, can't happen without these ringers, as well as past ringers, which I see a lot of you in the audience, so thank you for coming, but also the fans and the roadies who come to all these concerts. So, excellent. Now, or actually, Scott, you can announce this in a minute. We got a good number. So thank you for all of you and those who are watching online as well. Bells don't happen on their own. They happen as a group. And so I thank the ringers as well as the families and all of you who come and support us. So next piece is Oh Holy Night.
So what's the number? It's even turned over.
Give me a second.
You want to add to it?
Yeah, hold on. Whatever the number is, add 450 to it.
550?
Yeah.
So it's just over $1,500. So thank you. That's excellent. Definitely one of our higher amounts that we've raised. Yeah. And going. Please, tell your friends. There's nothing. We won't cut off the donations at any time. So, how would you guys like to sing? Sound good? All right. In your hymnals, number 113, Angels We Have Heard on High. We're going to sing all 3 verses. I'll bring you in. The oldest trick in the book. Gary keeps saying, Josh.
Well, thank you all so much. I addressed that first to the musicians. What a wonderful concert, and what a wonderful way to start this Christmas week. And thank you for coming and being here to support our ringers and our important cause. We will be back here on Christmas Eve at 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Our Katona Celebration Ringers will be at the 9 o'clock service, and our younger choir will be at the 5 o'clock service. And do we know when your services are?
5 o'clock and 11.
Okay, so Emmanuel is 5 o'clock and 11. So my sympathy to those of you who have to do the 11 o'clock. Go and have a wonderful week and a joyous Christmas. Thanks again for coming.
Come back.